Marcus makes $78,000 a year. 10 years ago, that was a comfortable middle-class life. Today, he can't afford 4 of the 7 things on this list. His parents bought their first home at 28. Marcus is 34. He has a master's degree, 0 debt from his car, and $14,000 saved. He still can't qualify for a mortgage in the city where he works. 3 blocks away, his colleague Dana makes $71,000. She just canceled her family's health insurance because the premium hit $1,400 a month. They're not broke, they're not irresponsible, they're not lazy. They are the middle class in 2026. And the list of things that quietly slipped out of reach without anyone making an announcement, without anyone calling it a crisis, that list is longer than most people realize. My name is Jack, and today we're going through all 7 with the actual numbers because the numbers are the most important part. Stay until number 4 because that's the one that hits families the hardest and the one that's moving the fastest. Let me tell you about Marcus first. He grew up in a middle-class household in Cincinnati, Ohio. His dad drove a forklift, his mom worked at a school district office. They owned a 3-bedroom house, took 1 vacation a year to a lake house in Michigan, put 2 kids through state college, and retired at 63 and 61 with their mortgage paid off. His parents did all of that on a combined income that, adjusted for inflation, was roughly equivalent to what Marcus makes today, alone. Marcus has a master's degree. He manages a team of 11 people. He works harder than his dad did. No offense to his dad. And he cannot replicate his parents' life. Not because he's failing, because the math changed. And Dana, 3 blocks away in the same office building, is living the same quiet impossibility. Good job, good decisions, and a growing list of things that used to be normal that now feel like luxuries. That list is what we're going through today. In 2015, the median home price in America was about $223,000. The median household income was around $56,000. That's a price-to-income ratio of roughly 4-to-1, stretched but workable. A couple with decent credit and a reasonable down payment could make it happen. Today, the median home price is hovering around $420,000. Median household income has grown, but nowhere close to keeping pace. It's around $80,000. That's a price-to-income ratio of over 5-to-1. And in the cities where most jobs actually are, Austin, Denver, Nashville, Seattle, any coastal market, it's 7, 8, 9-to-1. Marcus ran the numbers last spring. To buy a median-priced home in Cincinnati, not a fancy market, not a coastal city, he would need an $84,000 down payment to keep his monthly payment under 30% of his income, the traditional definition of affordable. He has $14,000 saved. He's not behind. He's been saving responsibly for 6 years. The down payment target just moved faster than his savings could follow. And here's what makes this different from every housing squeeze in American history. It's not just prices, it's prices and rates hitting simultaneously. In 2021, you could get a 30-year mortgage at 2.65%. Today, it's hovering near 7%. The monthly payment on that median home at today's rate is nearly double what it was at 2021's rate on the same house. Marcus's parents bought their first home at 28. He'll be renting at 34. Not because he failed, but because the math of home ownership quietly left the middle class behind while everyone else was looking somewhere else. Dana's $1,400 a month premium isn't unusual anymore. The average annual premium for employer-sponsored family health insurance crossed $25,000 in 2024. That's the total cost, employer plus employee contribution. The employee's share alone averages around $6,500 a year, and that's before a single doctor's visit. The average deductible for a family plan is now over $3,500, which means a family pays $6,500 in premiums and then pays the first $3,500 of medical costs out of pocket before insurance does anything meaningful. That's $10,000 before insurance does what most people think insurance does. Dana's husband had a kidney stone last year. Routine. Painful, but routine. The bill after insurance? $4,200. They had insurance. They paid the bill in installments over 8 months. 10 years ago, Dana's parents had a company plan that cost them $180 a month and covered almost everything. The number that explains what happened: in 2015, the average family deductible was around $1,300. Today, it's nearly 3 times that. Premiums have grown at roughly 4 times the rate of wages over the past decade. Dana didn't downgrade her insurance because she's irresponsible. She canceled it because at $1,400 a month, it was her rent payment or her health insurance. That is the actual choice middle-class families are making in 2026. She chose rent. She is now one medical event away from a financial crisis, and she is not alone. Roughly 25 million Americans under 65 are currently uninsured. Most of them had insurance a decade ago. Marcus's dad paid for 2 kids to go to Ohio State on a forklift operator's salary. In 1995, Ohio State's annual cost, tuition, room, board, was around $9,000. The average forklift operator made about $28,000. That's one kid's full year of college for roughly a third of his annual income. Today, Ohio State's total annual cost is over $30,000 for in-state students. The average forklift operator makes about $42,000. 1 year of college costs 70% of a forklift operator's annual salary. 2 kids, 4 years each, that's 8 years of a full salary just for college. Marcus's dad did it. Marcus can't do it for his own kids, and he makes nearly twice what his dad made. The number that explains it: since 1980, college tuition has risen over 1,200%. Inflation over the same period, around 236%. Wages for middle-class workers, roughly 18% in real terms. The math of paying for college with middle-class wages was viable in 1995. It is not viable in 2026 without debt for almost any family. The middle class didn't fail college. College quietly moved out of reach while keeping the same name.
This is the one I told you to wait for. Not because a family vacation is the most important thing on this list. It's not. But because it's the most visible and the most honest measure of what middle class actually felt like versus what it feels like now. Marcus's parents took their family to a lake house in Michigan every summer, rented a cabin for a week, packed the cooler, drove 4 hours, came back sunburned and full. The total cost in today's dollars, roughly $1,200 to $1,500 for the week. Marcus looked up the same trip last March, same region of Michigan, same style of cabin, same week in July. $3,800, before gas, before food, before the rental car because the cabin location doesn't have rideshare. Short-term rental prices have increased over 40% since 2019. Airfare is up nearly 30% from pre-pandemic levels. A family of 4 flying somewhere domestic for a week, modest hotel, modest activities, now runs $5,000 to $7,000 minimum. And here's the data that puts a number on the feeling Marcus can't quite name. In 2014, roughly 54% of American families took at least one vacation per year. By 2024, that number had dropped to 38%. That's not a minor shift. That's a 30% collapse in the share of families who can afford what used to be a standard part of middle-class life. Marcus and his wife haven't taken a vacation in 2 years. They've done 3-day weekends at a state park, which they both genuinely enjoy, but it's not the same. It's not the vacation, it's the math behind the vacation. It's the quiet realization that the standard their parents set, the lake house, the week off, the cooler full of food, has quietly become a luxury without anyone making an announcement, without anyone calling it a crisis. The average new car payment in America right now is $800 a month. In 2015, it was $483. That's a 65% increase in the monthly cost of owning a new car in 10 years. The average new car price has crossed $48,000. The cheapest new cars, the entry-level sedans that used to be the middle-class default, have either been discontinued or repriced out of reach. The Ford Fusion is gone, the Chevy Cruze is gone, the Honda Fit is gone. Car manufacturers discovered that profit margins on entry-level vehicles are thin, so they stopped making them. The market now defaults to SUVs and trucks, and the cheapest versions of those start at $35,000. Dana's car is a 2019. It has 87,000 miles. She's been told by her mechanic that she has 2 to 3 good years left before major repairs. She's been saving for a replacement. She ran the numbers last month. A basic new SUV, nothing fancy, no leather seats, no sunroof, financed over 72 months at current rates, $730 a month. She currently pays $0 a month on her paid-off 2019. The jump from 0 to $730 is not a car upgrade. It is a lifestyle restructuring. It is canceling vacations and restaurants and contributions to her daughter's college fund just to have a reliable vehicle. She bought her 2019 used instead, but the used car market is barely better. Prices haven't fully corrected from the pandemic spike that saw used car prices jump 45% in a single year. The middle-class default used to be save up, buy a sensible new car every 8 to 10 years, make manageable payments. That default no longer exists in the current market. This one isn't talked about enough. In 1973, the median American family could live on one income, not lavishly, not extravagantly, but a house, a car, a vacation, and a retirement on one paycheck. By 1985, it was getting harder. By 2000, for most families, it was gone. By 2026, it is almost mathematically impossible in most American cities. The average cost of full-time childcare in America now is over $15,000 per year per child. In major cities, New York, San Francisco, Washington, D.C., it exceeds $30,000 per child annually. Marcus and his wife are expecting their first child. They've run the math on whether she could stay home for the first 3 years. Her salary is $52,000. Childcare for one infant in Cincinnati is $18,000 a year. After taxes, her take-home is roughly $39,000. Childcare alone would consume 46% of her take-home. She's going back to work, not because she wants to, because the alternative, losing 46% of her after-tax income to childcare, makes staying home and working almost financially equivalent, except working keeps her career alive. So she works. In 1975, 46% of families had one parent at home full-time. By 2024, that number is under 18%. And for most of those families, it's a financial sacrifice rather than a financial choice. The two-income family didn't emerge because women wanted to enter the workforce, though many did. It emerged because one income stopped being enough. The choice quietly disappeared.
This is the last one, and it's the one that ties all the others together. Because you might look at this list and think, okay, a vacation is a luxury, a new car is a luxury, maybe some of these are wants, not needs. And I get that argument. But this one isn't. Financial breathing room, the ability to absorb an unexpected expense without it threatening your entire month, used to be a standard feature of a middle-class life. Not wealth, just stability. Marcus makes $78,000 a year. After federal taxes, state taxes, Social Security, Medicare, health insurance premiums, and his 401k contribution, his take-home is about $4,400 a month. His rent is $1,750. His car payment is $0, paid off. His student loans finished last year. His groceries run $600 a month for him and his wife. Do the rough math. After rent and groceries alone, he has about $2,050 left for everything else. Utilities, phone, internet, gas, car insurance, renter's insurance, subscriptions, the occasional dinner out. By the end of a typical month, Marcus saves about $400. $400 a month on $78,000 a year in a relatively affordable city with no car payment and no student loans. Now add a medical bill, or a car repair, or a broken appliance, or a week of missed work. According to the Federal Reserve's most recent survey, 37% of Americans could not cover a $400 emergency expense without borrowing money or selling something. 37%, nearly 4 in 10.
And critically, this isn't just low-income Americans. It includes people earning $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year, the middle-class income range. 10 years ago, financial breathing room was the baseline expectation of a middle-class life, the ability to have a bad month without it cascading into a crisis. Today, for millions of people earning solidly middle-class incomes, that breathing room is gone, squeezed out by costs that grew faster than wages in every single category we've talked about today. Marcus isn't one medical bill away from poverty. He's one medical bill away from not saving anything for 6 months, which means 6 months further from a down payment, which means the house gets further away, which means the vacation stays canceled, which means the list gets longer. That's what financial breathing room actually buys. Not luxury, not comfort, just the margin to absorb life without it derailing everything else. And that margin is what the middle class is losing, quietly, steadily, without announcement. So here's where Marcus is now. He's 34, good job, good decisions, master's degree, 0 car debt, $14,000 saved. And he's slowly making peace with the fact that his financial life will look different from his parents'. Not worse necessarily, different. He owns less, he rents more, he takes fewer vacations, he saves more carefully, he's more deliberate about every dollar than his dad ever had to be. And when he sits with that, really sits with it, what bothers him isn't the lake house he didn't take or the house he hasn't bought yet. What bothers him is the feeling that he did everything right. He followed the script. Get educated, get a good job, save responsibly, live below your means. And the script quietly changed the ending without telling him. Because this isn't a story about personal failure. The math changed. Costs rose faster than wages in every category we covered today. Housing, healthcare, education, transportation, childcare, all of it outpacing what middle-class wages can absorb. That's not a Marcus problem. That's not a Dana problem. That's a structural shift that happened slowly enough that nobody called it a crisis, but fast enough that 10 years later, the list of things a middle-class income can no longer reach looks completely different from what it looked like when Marcus's dad was driving that forklift. Knowing that doesn't fix the math, but it fixes something else. It fixes the quiet shame of feeling like you're failing a standard that the economy quietly made impossible. You're not behind. The finish line moved.
Here's what I want you to take from this. 1. The math changed. Not your effort, not your discipline. The costs moved faster than the wages. Knowing that is not an excuse, it's a map. 2. The families making it through this squeeze have one thing in common. They stopped measuring their life against their parents' benchmark and started optimizing for the actual math in front of them. Rent if buying doesn't make sense. Keep the old car, skip the vacation this year and build the buffer instead. 3. The breathing room matters more than any single item on this list. $400 a month saved consistently, even if it feels small, is the difference between a bad month and a derailed year. The middle class isn't dying because people are failing. It's being squeezed because the math changed. And the people who navigate it best are the ones who see the math clearly and make decisions based on what's real, not what their parents' version of middle class looked like. If this gave you a new way to see your own situation, subscribe, because next week we're going into the one thing that's quietly making the squeeze worse for millions of Americans who don't realize it's happening to them. It's not inflation, it's not interest rates, it's something much closer to your own decisions and much more fixable. I'll see you in that one.